Scripture of the day today is one that has come up quite a few times for me in the last few days. So why wouldn't we talk about it here today? Psalm 91, from a business person's perspective, says this: he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. We'll go and then we'll come back. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. Not every translation will use the word pestilence. What does that mean? Direct word would be plagues, right? Like the bubonic plague of London and things like that. So this is like, He's going to protect you from the pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies through the day. That's really important. Nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 to your right side, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked. Even the Most High, your dwelling place, no evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near you or near your dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot. I got to tell you, I don't know. We all have different ways of doing spiritual warfare. For me, one of the greatest things is to, find strength in Scripture. It puts a lot of things in perspective, like when you're going through some stuff and it's a bit crap. So you kind of get out of that little world and you start looking at scriptures like this. And you can imagine when you put yourself in the position of people like David and those who wrote and Moses and many others. They lived with some real challenges and they allowed God to become their rock and their refuge, and it served them well. So why would it be any different to us? But here's a few things that I want to pull out of this. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High. See, that's interesting. Dwells in, to me, is very different to praise to, right? It's great to pray to God as if He's some sort of far off being. But this, it's a whole different thing when you dwell in the secret place of the Most High. What that is that's the secret place being that place that you draw away to where you are closest to God, right? So, for some that might be going out in the bush, for some that might be in the ocean, for some that might be whatever, okay? You've got to find that place. But when you dwell in the secret place of the Most High King and abide under the shadow of the Almighty, that talks about having such a relationship, right? This is so much more than praying and reading scripture. This is a place where your relationship is so tight that you are dwelling and abiding together, okay? Right? If we can get that level of intimacy in our relationship where we're abiding and dwelling together in a secret place, the Most High King, there's nothing you cannot face in life. When we don't have that level of intimacy and things come at us, then we're forced to just throw random, scriptures at circumstances, hoping for the best. So this shifts our perspective on how important things are. Then it goes on to say, the other bit I will say to the Lord, He's my refuge and my fortress, in Him I will trust. Yes, surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the pestilence. He shall cover you with feathers and take refuge. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night and the arrow that flies by day. Let's put that into a business context. Ever find yourself sitting there at night time, whether it be, when you're supposed to be asleep or in your sleep or just when you're away from the office and fear starts to grab you? That deal's not going to come through. How could you possibly pay for that? Why would you water that? Shouldn't make that move. Shouldn't make this investment. Fear just grabs us, right? At night time. I don't know whether you have that. I certainly have that, okay? It's for me, crazy as it sounds, it's almost like when the day is done and I finish running and I've put the kids to bed and, I've hung out with Kimberly, and when the house is quiet, it's almost like then the enemy's like, right now I'm going to try and steal, the thoughts of this guy and put fear and stuff in my mind. And this is what he's saying, right? You shall not be afraid of the terror by night. I've had so many sleepless nights when I was a younger business person, you know, worried about all of this stuff, and probably didn't need to. You will not be worried about the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by the day. Ever feel like your competitors are trying to pull you down and lying and cheating about you? Ever felt like the staff are gossiping and slandering you? These are the arrows that come by the day, okay? If you chose business and you chose kingdom business, there are going to be some arrows coming your way, okay? So when we abide in those places and we dwell with the Most High King, we don't have to worry about the terror, the fear that can grab us in any second, and we don't have to worry about the arrow that the enemy shoots at us during the day and using the business world to do that. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 to your right-hand side, but it shall not come near you. What does that look like in business? I started business coaching in 2006 was part of a big group for a little while. That didn't really work out. Left them, went on my own in 2000 and I don't know what it was, 8 and so forth. Since then, I reckon there's probably only a handful of coaches still around today that were around when I started. All right, the GFC came along in 2008. That was a really hard year, 2008, 9, 10, and the week it didn't work out with the week. All right, they fell away, and here I am, running this race for the long term, 2019, and I'm just getting started. And I'm fully expecting to be doing this in 2029. Will it be this format? Who knows, right? Who knows? God knows. I don't need to know that. So when you have this long-term view and you run this race, and when you've got God on your side, Matt, do you know the amount of people that have accused us and slandered us from the sidelines? They're all gone now. I can even tell you that, the few people that have actually intentionally ripped me off in business, cash ripped me off in business, and there's many of those stories, they're all bankrupt, funnily enough. They have all filed for bankruptcy. It's really interesting when you look at it, I'm not saying that to brag, I'm just saying, but because, right, I dwell in the secret place of the Most High King and I do my best to, abide in the shadow of the Almighty, of course, there are people that try and attack you, but they fall to the left and they fall to the right, and we just keep our nose clean and we keep on running. And so that just gets me pumped, right? It gets me pumped. It's an outworking of what I read about in Scripture, right? I want to experience more of this stuff in my life. And so I like to have that perspective, okay? It goes on to say, you'll see with your eyes and you shall look and see the reward of the wicked. Do you know how many people I've come and seen in business who are transactional, couldn't care less, right, about, people, products, longevity. They couldn't care less about any of those things. All they care about is making a fast, quick buck. And every single one of those people is worse for it right now. I've seen so many come and so many go, and they're all broke, and they go from deal to deal, opportunity to opportunity, and they never get anywhere, right? That is the reward of the unrighteous that I have been able to see while I just keep running my race. And that's what I want from you, right? You'll be seeing this. But do not fear. Do not fear about the arrows that come by day and the terror that comes by night. But you don't get to walk in that, that assurity unless we abide, under the shadow of the Almighty and dwell in that place with the Most High King. We've got to lift our intimacy levels. If we really want to take this seriously and we want to build a big business and we want to have influence, we've got to lift these levels of intimacy to the point where we're not just praying to God and believing for things, where we're actually intimate with Him and spending lots of time in His presence. So based on that, what was the thing that popped to you? I want a comment in the comments box from you guys, please, because you are the oxygen that keeps this thing moving.